Hey guys, welcome to Risq Racing.
I'm Caden Wells, here with Emma Cornwell, and we're going to be giving you a shop tour today.
Let's get the fun started. Before we dive into our current builds, Caden's going to give us a little rundown on the history of Risq Racing and how everything got started.
Risq Racing started probably back in 2015-ish. My brother was in high school, so was I. I was, I think, a sophomore or a junior. And our neighbor started a UTV shop and wanted to build, he built 3 UTVs, one for me and one for my brother and one for themselves. And we ended up starting in the Work series, and my brother was doing a t-shirt printing company and he named it Risq Threads. He wanted to do vinyl and ended up doing some Risq stickers on his car, and we just thought it was pretty cool, and that's where the name came from and where it originated. My personal first time in a race or a practice was here, the Sand Hollow. Works came to Sand Hollow, and first practice, I thought I was racing practice and ended up just rolling my car, bent the whole frame. Like, we ended up bringing it home, putting it on like a porta power and a come along, and we straightened it out. It was about 3 inches out in the front, and then went in the race and didn't know even anything about the car. Blew a belt, and to me the car just stopped driving. So I was done with a blown belt, which is a simple fix, but pretty crazy. Being on the starting line, and like, I'm used to being on a bike in a gate with 8 people, and we're on a starting line with like 10 people wide, but 4 rows, and knowing there's gonna be another row. Even if you're last on the first row, there's always gonna be 10 people trying to get by you there, and the adrenaline rush it took a lot to get used to. Now, going up to the start, I'm probably more nervous on being on time and how it's gonna play out than actually like the driving portion. After a few years of racing Works, our cars, they get hammered after each race. It's 45 minutes, and the desert race can be 6 to 20 hours, depending on the race, 250 miles or 1,000 miles. And my dad was wanting to get more seat time and practice and everything, rather than showing up and doing a 15-minute practice with a 45-minute moto. So we decided to build our desert car. Basically just looked at photos and had no clue really exactly what we were doing, looking at the top cars in desert racing and building it without just copying someone's car, building it and then doing it what we thought could be better or stronger, and went from there. So going into the first race, it was the Perump 250. Didn't know what to think about it. I got through, car was running good, probably pit, I don't know, 4 or 5. I was like mentally just exhausted, hadn't done anything this long, and maybe not even halfway through the race, not thinking I was going to be able to even finish it, but kept going. I think we ended with 7 flat tires that race, like super crazy, but then ended up also taking the corner off the car, finished on 3 wheels. Like, we were running probably like a top 5 pace, and then ended up probably 10th, 12th, I don't know, coming in on 3 wheels. My parents from day one, they've always supported me and my brother, and now racing UTVs, they really have shown their support, and we've grown as a family and a team into what it is today, and couldn't have done it without them. Our relationship with Polaris started off in 2020. It's awesome having them on board and being able to use them for any questions we have or any help. Being able to work with the engineers, ask them a question, or checking what parts can work here, or if we have an issue with our car overheating, like what options they have for solutions to our problems, and really just helping us figure out the bugs on the car or how to make them work better than they already work. After building up a relationship with Polaris, we ended up going back and using a lot of OE parts, and we're one of the few cars that are running 64-inch wide in the desert, and we actually run the stock A-arms, trailing arms, all four corners are stock. We do a little bit of gusseting on the A-arms and trailing arms, but I know of one other guy that is running stock 64-inch wide, but other than that, it's just us two.
My first race was actually 10 years ago, which seems like a really long time ago. It was just a small, like, racing for boobs breast cancer awareness race. I think it was in Barstow. Then I took a really long break. I played college sports, got my degree, and graduated. And my dad had his own race car. He got Polaris RZR as well with my uncle. So I was involved with him in that, and then I ended up getting to go to the races and help with an IV hydration company there. So it was the best of both worlds for me pursuing a physician assistant degree. Caden was getting hydrated and getting IVs, doing the right thing. And actually his uncle asked me to navigate for him at the Mint 400. And they were like, so are you busy? And I was like, no, like, I'm happy to do it. Got in the car, I remember talking to his old co-driver, Mitch, and I was like, so, you know, like, I haven't been in the car with him. I know he's fast. Like, what's your advice? Like, I want to replace you as best as possible. Like, they've been best friends forever, and I by no means wanted to take his seat, but I'm sure glad I did. But he was like, you know, if you don't talk, he goes faster. So the second you speak, he lifts because he thinks something's coming. So that first Mint, I was like, okay, I have to be really, like, intentional and purposeful with what I'm saying. I'd been in the car with my uncle and my dad before, and my dad's hard of hearing, so he was like, be monotone, no screaming or anything. So imagine the two of us in the car for the first time, like, he's shy and I'm monotone. So we were just going along. We had a great ride. Him as a driver, like, it's an incredible experience. I would recommend it to everyone. Anyone that's afraid of driving with somebody else, getting in the car with him, if you just let go and trust him, it will be the best ride of your life. But I don't think we ever really had communication issues so much in the car. But the pre-running in Mexico for sure was where I was like, okay, I really want to get inside of your head. Like, I'm here to help you. So you need to tell me, like, how you want things called or what you think about this corner, because it could be different from what I think about it. So I think that's really where we started, like, fine-tuning a lot of our communication, navigating, driving. But even if I wasn't there, he could go along just fine. So far, the Polaris RZR platform has been incredible. It's been such a learning experience with Caden, and really getting to pick his brain and Travis's brain about the platform. They know these cars so well, and I'm really excited to go along with the journey of figuring out the Pro R as well as they know the NA car. I've been, like, very thankful to be here for the build of their new car and seeing how their brains work and really diving into it and, like, disassembling everything and putting it back together and listening to how they communicate about what they think would be best and reaching out to other people and reaching out to Polaris. Like, it really does take a village, and they know that and aren't afraid to use that village. Enough about how impressed I am with the car. Let's have Caden show you the actual vehicles and what he's put into them.
So it's a 2021 Polaris RZR XP1000 four-seater. We've made it 2 seats because our fuel tank sits where the other 2 seats would be. Starting up here in the front, we got Baja Designs, LP6, squadrons on side lights, stock axles, stock arms. We've been running the Tensor Method combo for about 3 years now, and honestly, I don't think I would run another tire. I'm really impressed with it. Moving back, we have the Assault mirrors. They're awesome. If you do get a crack in one, all you do is pop a couple screws out and throw new glass in. You're good to go. Back in the back, we're running the Summer Brothers rear sway bar, and the factory trailing arms with our gusset kit. It's just like a weld-on wraparound piece to give it a little more strength and quite a bit more durable with that on. We converted our transmission setup and clutch setup to the RS1. It runs a fatter belt, same belt as the turbo car, and that helps a ton for heating and cooling on the clutches. Most stuff in the rear is factory. We are running our own radius rods that we make. They're just quarter wall chromoly. Back in the back, we have the factory exhaust. Don't really have any issues with that either. There's quite a bit factory on the car. We're running the 3 Savage cases. One's first aid, the other one holds a belt, and then the one on our rear tire, it holds a ton of tools, sockets, wrenches, clutch pullers, whatever. On the inside, we'll start off on this side. I have Polaris Sparco Turbo S wheel, the stock Polaris gauge, running the PCI radio and intercom, Lawrence GPS, DynoJet tuner, tuned by DW Performance, and then always staying comfy in the Simpson seats. This is our latest wrap done by my brother next door at Union Graphic Company. This one's got a matte finish. We try to keep the car updated with a new look probably 3 times a year, but this one will probably finish out the year. On the front end, being 64 inches wide, we're able to use the stock arms still. We do throw a couple weld washers and some gussets and tubes in, and then we have a ball joint cup piece we add on, and it's a weld-on piece and just gives you extra strength so you don't tear your ball joints out of the arm. One of the key components of the motor is running liquid moly products in our car, keeping us protected for all of the races, but we're down in Mexico and Baja running long races up to 1,000 miles, 1,200 miles even, and it's been fantastic for us. Thanks for watching, guys.
If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to either of us. If not, make sure you say hi at the races.